What's up everybody? In this video, we are going to jump into TinkerCAD and build our first circuit. Before watching this video, you should have watched the electronics primer. There are some concepts from that video that will make it easier to understand what we are doing in this video. Start off by logging into TinkerCAD using your course username. I should note that there are a lot of cool features of TinkerCAD that we will not be touching in this course. I would recommend looking at the other sections when you have some time. If you are interested in learning more about the makerspace, learning about 3D modeling, printing, and laser cutting is a great next step. TinkerCAD has some amazing resources to get you going. You can find these resources by clicking on the Resources button on the navigation bar. Back to our first circuit. Under the Circuits section, click on the green Create Your First Circuits Design button. Let's take a minute to examine the interface before making our circuit. In the top left-hand corner, you will see the name of your project. You can change this whenever you want. Click on the name and change it to Basic Setup. On the right-hand side of our navigation, you will see there is an indicator letting us know that our project has been saved. TinkerCAD automatically saves our projects for us. Next, there are tabs that go between Circuit View, Schematic View, and Components List. As we add items to our circuit, the views will get populated. The Components List is great if you have made a circuit and are ready to start shopping for parts. This will give you a list of the items you need. On the menu bar, below the main navigation, you will see the Circuits menu. On the left-hand side are a set of icons. The first 3 icons enable you to copy, paste, and delete a component. The back arrow will undo a step, the forward arrow will redo a step. The note icon will allow us to add annotations. The eyeball allows us to view and hide notes. The color swatch enables us to select the wire color, and the line allows us to select the wire type. The last 2 icons enable us to rotate and mirror components. On the right-hand side of the Circuits menu, you will see a Code button. When you click on it, a panel slides out to allow us to add code to our circuit. Next to the Code button is the Start Simulation button. TinkerCAD gives us the ability to wire, code, and test circuits digitally. This is great for when you are starting out, as you can debug things before you actually build the circuit. It also enables us to share and debug circuits virtually with one another. You can also try new components that you don't have in your kit. The Send To button enables you to export your circuit as an image, import it into Autodesk Fusion 360, export it as a .brd file if you want to create a printed circuit board, or invite people to collaborate on your TinkerCAD file. Right now, if we click a lot of these buttons, not much happens. That is because we don't have any components in our circuit. The main area of the screen is the artboard. This is where we will place our components and build our circuit. To the right of the artboard, you will see a list of components that you can select and drop onto the artboard. If you search through the components, you will see a lot of the elements of your maker kit are available digitally. You can use the search bar to find a component. There are also pre-built starter circuits. For the purpose of learning, we are going to build our first circuit from scratch. Let's go ahead and make our first circuit. Scroll down the components until you find the Arduino Uno R3. Single-click the Arduino component and move your mouse over the artboard. You will see the Arduino is following your mouse cursor. When you are ready to place it on your artboard, single-click with your mouse on the artboard. When you place any component, a description box will appear in the top right corner of your artboard. It will show the name of the component, and you can give it a name of your own. Names are for your reference and are not mandatory. They will show up on the components list. After I give my Arduino a name, if I click the Components tab, I can see the name shows up on the list. You can select an item on your artboard by single-clicking the component. If you click and hold on your artboard, you can pan. You can zoom in and out of the artboard using your mouse scroll wheel or the keyboard shortcuts Command plus or minus on a Mac or Control plus or minus on a PC. You will also see on the top left corner of your artboard a Zoom to Fit button. This will center your circuit on the artboard. Next, let's select the breadboard from the components and place it onto the artboard. Great! Those are the 2 components we are going to use for our circuit. If you hover over top of the breadboard or the Arduino, you will notice the visual indicators showing us where we can connect components using wire. If you remember from the electronics primer, your breadboard has rails that are connected to one another. If you hover over a hole on the red plus terminal or the black minus terminal, you will see green circles to indicate which holes are connected to one another. The same is true for any of the numerical terminal strips. This is an important concept as it will help us to connect our components to one another. Let's connect the power rails on either side of the breadboard to one another. Click the last hole on the positive plus power rail. As you move your mouse, you will notice that there is a line following your mouse. This is a wire. In TinkerCAD, wires can be as long as you like. You can also click to add anchor points to your wire. Anchor points will add bend to your wire and make it easier to organize your circuit. Add 2 anchor points and then click on the last hole on the positive power rail on the opposite side. Change the color to red. Go ahead and connect the negative power rail. Change the wire color to black. We now have connected the power rails on either side of the breadboard to one another. This means we can use either power rail for the power or ground connections. This is a good time to talk about the wire in your kit and color coding. In short, the wire in your kit is all the same. There is no difference between a blue, orange, green, red, black, yellow, or purple colored wire. You can use any color wire to connect a component. With that in mind, you should use wire color as a visual indicator. It is a good idea to reserve red wire for the plus or power connections and black for negative or ground connections. This will help when your circuits become more complex. The last thing we are going to do is connect the Arduino to the breadboard. We are going to connect the power from the Arduino to the plus on the breadboard, and the GND ground from the Arduino to the minus on the breadboard. Click on the 5V on your Arduino and connect it to the plus power rail on your breadboard. Next, click on the GND on your Arduino and connect it to the minus power rail on your breadboard. We now have power running from the Arduino to the breadboard. This is the basic setup we will use for all of our circuits. To recap, at the end of this video, you should have a better understanding of the TinkerCAD circuit interface and how to build and wire your first circuit.